close in a moment. Here we go.
Welcome to the Long Distance Playbook. Today is the 24th of January. Currently missing our normal co-host, Chris, but I got my boy Jay down at Vicenza and Jeff down in Tampa, and we have a special guest. Jay, who we got this week?
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, anytime you can have a living Hall of Famer come to your show, you just get super excited. The playoffs are going on right now, and just the special time of year is right upon us right now. But today, we had a Hall of Famer. That's right, a Hall of Famer drafted in 1977 out of FAMU. If you don't know what FAMU is,
FAMU.
A&M.
There it is. There it is.
The Fam Rattlers. Now that's down there in the MEAC where they play tough football when you earn your chops. And guess what? He got drafted in 77. State. He wasn't no fly-by kicker. You know, kickers, punters, they come and they go. Not this guy. He did it for 12, 13 years. Legend. Now they do that. I don't know what this is in Minnesota. They do all that craziness, but look, when it came down to it, he showed up for him. He showed out, and he has the Vikings record for 563 consecutive punts without getting blocked. That means the Albert Lewises of the world that think I'm gonna come there, I'm gonna block your kick. The Matt Stewart, Ted Hendricks, come on, I'm gonna block. No. Greg Coleman's on the field. Now, you might as well just go ahead and put punt return special on, because you ain't blocking it. We have punter Greg Coleman. Greg Coleman.
Let's go.
Thank you, Jay. Man, it's good to be with you guys this morning.
Oh, sir, thank you for being on the show.
Yes,
oh, it's my pleasure.
So we'll get right into it. We know your accomplishments. We know everything you've been doing since football, and you have a lot to share with us. So we're just going to get right into it. I'm going to ask you first, your days at FAMU, Florida A&M. Can you tell us a little bit about going into the NFL? What was it like playing there? And when did you know that you might be able to get drafted into the NFL?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, thanks. And great question, great segue. I knew that the body of work from high school, that there was a possibility for me to go to the next level. Also, it was during the time, you know, I'm one of those late 60s, early 70s babies where bias and racism was still affluent down. In the South, there were the PWIs were just getting to the point that they were adding certain players to their universities, to their rosters. And the plight was very similar to the black quarterback. And I literally had coaches that tell me, Greg, we've got our alumni set to accept the fact that we're going to have a black quarterback. I damn sure can't have a black kicker and a punter at this point. FAMU came along and said, hey, Ms. Coleman, we don't have money to put a extension on the back of your house. Give Greg a car or even a scholarship for his girlfriend. And I'm not saying that that's what those other schools were doing, but that's what I was told. Florida A&M comes to my house, knocking on my door, Coach Bobby Lane. And he sat at my table. He said, Ms. Coleman, if Greg comes to Florida A&M, he can run track, he can kick, he can punt. And if he goes to school, he'll graduate. My mom says, that sounds pretty good. He said, "Oh, by the way, and we'll feed him 3 meals a day." My mom said, "Give me that damn pen. Have you seen how much this boy eats?" So FAMU came at a time where I needed it and it needed me. And the maturation that I had from entering FAMU as a young man to leaving, being prepared to take charge of my own life and to be a contributor, as coaches would tell you, a good citizen. You know, it laid the groundwork to be um, a good person, a decent man, a good father. All of those things that you needed, I got the nurturing. And you talk about FAMU to the pros. My kicking coach, Pop Kittles, who also doubled as the baseball coach, who coached my cousin Vince in baseball, and Hal McRae, and the list goes on and on and on. But Pop Kittles was my kicking coach, and Pop, I'm at practice one day and I'm just thumping him down the middle of the field, 50, 60, 70 yards. And Pop said, "Well, baby, why are you kicking it right to him?" I said, "Well, Pop, that's where he's standing." He said, "Well, hell, baby, make him earn his supper." He said, "Kick it to the right, kick it to the left, make him run." He said, "And I guarantee you, if you do it on a consistent basis, they'll find a place for you at the next level." And I was stupid enough to believe it. So my forte, the thing that kept me in the league the most, was my ability to kick to the corner. And I knew that I'd made it when I heard Howard Cosell say on a replay one, I think it was a Thursday night game, we were playing Dallas or something. And he said, "Greg Coleman, punter out of Florida A&M University, kicking it to the coffin corner Coleman." That was it.
How about that? Hey, Jay, I got to jump in with the next question because he's kind of segueing into that.
Well, right. Chris is a St. Louis Cardinal fan too, so keep that in mind. Go ahead.
Okay, so no, just being able to kick the ball consistently inside the 10-yard line, right, and not having it go out for a touchback. How difficult of a kick is that?
First of all, it's a selfless act. You can't be a selfish punter and kick to the corners. Had they had that stat many, many years ago, hell, ain't no telling how many balls inside of the 20 that I would have had. But they started that statistic, and eventually. But here was a piece. Pop Kittles was prophetic, because after I got drafted, cut Cleveland, all of that stuff, migrated to Minnesota. I had the opportunity because I tried out with 3 or 4 other different teams. Nobody wanted to make a decision. I led the league that preseason in punting. Forrest Gregg gets fired. Sam Rutigliano comes in, says, "You're going to be our guy." I said, "Sam, listen, I know how this thing goes," because Art Modell goes back into the draft, because I'm getting to the story. Tom Sculadini was drafted by Cleveland out of Ohio State. Did not want to come to Cleveland. Held out. Forrest Gregg, I'm in camp. Jake Gaither called Cleveland. Got cut by Cincinnati. Didn't work. Long story short, got to Cleveland. Worked my behind off. Forrest Gregg said, "Can you handle this? Because I'm sick of this Sculadini mess." I said, "Coach, all I need is an opportunity." He said, "Then you're my punter." Had a decent rookie year. Only 1 touchback, the entire year. Fast forward, Art Modell goes back into the draft, drafts a kid by the name of Johnny Evans out of North Carolina State, wanted to be quarterback/punter, led the entire league, got cut. Long story short, trying out 3 or 4 other different teams, watching a game, still in Cleveland, wife pregnant with our first child, watching a game between the Minnesota Vikings and the Los Angeles Rams. And neither punter was doing anything special. And I go to my 9th floor apartment window because I'm ticked. I'm ticked at God. I'm screaming. I said, "God, you lied to me. You said that if I would pray, not talk about anybody, do what I was supposed to do, you would give me the desires of my heart. Where are you?" I said, "I just want to play football." And I said, "I'll even play for the Minnesota Vikings." And I closed my 9th floor apartment window. The next day, I go out on an interview, because money was getting short. The 6th or 7th game of the season. It was the 7th week of the season. I get back home from the interview. My wife says, "You remember what you said?" I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, you remember you said that you would even play for the Minnesota Vikings? I said, yeah. She said, well, somebody named of Frank Gilliam called and they want you on the plane to Minnesota. I said, thank God. But here's the caveat. When I was a little shorty down here in Jacksonville, Florida, where I've relocated to, me and my boys swore that we would never, ever play for the Minnesota Vikings. Why? 3 reasons. Number one, it was cold as hell. Number two, they had a coach that blue eyes, pierced blue eyes, crew cut haircut, didn't say much, arms folded on the sideline. That was Bud Grant. But here was a real reason that I didn't want to play for Minnesota. Minnesota wore black shoes. And you might look at me, what the heck does black shoes go with? Man, you got to remember back in the day, all the cool brothers wore white shoes. Billy White Shoes Johnson, Joe Willie Namath, Elmore Wright, and all those things. But I said that I would never, ever play for Minnesota for those 3 reasons. Be careful about what you tell God what you ain't going to do. You better be careful.
Amen to that.
But the nurturing that I got in at FAMU was incredible. Rudy Hubbard came to FAMU after coaching at Ohio State. He was a guy that really turned it around for me, because I remember we lost the game against Bethune-Cookman because we didn't try a field goal or something. And after the game, I'm ticked. I said, Coach, I need to talk to you that Sunday morning. He said, I need to talk to you too. He said, come sit down. He said, Greg Coleman, you think you're pretty good. He said, and sometimes you are. He said, but I watched you that whole week of practice. You'd hit the 50-yarder, but hell, you couldn't make an extra point. Pre-game warm-up, same thing. I don't know if I could trust you. And when a coach tells you that, it's almost like gutting you like a fish. And that turned my mindset around, and I realized the difference between confidence and cocky. At some point during that journey, I'd gotten cocky. But Coach Hubbard's words grounded me, came back, had a phenomenal year. And speaking of Coach Hubbard, he will be inducted into the Black College Football Hall of Fame class of 2026. Well-deserved. And I can't be more elated to have my head coach from FAMU to join that fraternity of men called the Black College Football Hall of Fame. I know that was a long roundabout, Jeff, to get to that story, but get to the end of it. But man, it was an incredible ride.
That's okay. The story is the meat. So that's what we love to hear. Appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely.
Many blessings. And also, so our host in Wiesbaden, other host in Wiesbaden, Germany, Chris, just joined in, and he probably missed this key fact that you put out about Vince Coleman. Can you tell us about you and Vince Coleman? What exactly did you say?
Well, Vince is my first cousin. His mom and my dad were brother and sister. Actually, this is probably not a well-known story about Vince. Vince was a hell of a punter and place kicker that came behind me at my high school, at Raines High School in Jacksonville, Florida. Broke most of my punting records, most of my field goal records, followed me to FAMU, broke most of the punting records. And I had the longest field goal record for a number of years until a few years ago, longest 54 yards, 54 yards. But Vince could have been, we had this thing that we were going to be the kicking Colemans in the NFL, but when he got his shot at Washington, because of his speed, the same thing happened to me at Cincinnati. Very few punters come out and run 4.4, 4.3. And Paul Brown, my rookie year at Cincinnati, said, you got too much speed to just be a punter. Go over there and work with the receivers. Coach, I never played wide receiver in my life. Well, hell, Isaac Curtis and Chip Myers, they'll tell you what to do. Well, that didn't work out. He said, well, okay, go back over there with Ken Riley. You know Ken Riley and Lamar Parrish and all those guys. Play defensive back. Coach, I never played defensive back. And then I would have to punt after practice. Long story short, same thing happened to Vince when he got his opportunity with Washington. And I remember him calling me one day. He said, man, they won't let me punt. They want me to play wide receiver. They won't let me kick. I said, Vince, you have another option. I said, go play baseball. And the rest is history.
There you go.
Wow. And for some of you who don't know who Vince Coleman is or was, my God. Ricky Henderson was fast, but boy, Vince Coleman was probably faster.
Hey, I watched him steal 2 bases on 1 play.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Chris. He wasn't fast enough to outrun that female tarp that kept him out of the
Yeah,
World
I
Series.
know that cost us our World Series. I remember that.
Wow.
I think Minnesota did that on purpose.
Well, but it actually happened in St. Louis. The tarp incident happened in St. Louis, but they were playing the Twins for the World Series that year.
Yeah. Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
not gonna
pretty,
talk about
that's pretty crazy. You playing in '87 with the Vikings. Your cousin playing for the Cardinals. I mean, you had to have like kind of like a mixed type of.
How were the family reunions? That's what we want to know.
Well, the family reunions were fine. I mean, because blood is always thicker than water. I mean, even though Kirby Puckett was one of my besties at that time, I mean, I took BP. I mean, I was a Twins fan until they played the Cardinals. And believe it or not, baseball was actually one of my best sports.
Wow. Oh my God, this is good stuff. Really good stuff. We definitely weren't expecting this.
No. So go ahead, Jay.
So you were talking about playing outdoors in Minnesota before they actually brought in the Metrodome. What was it like kicking outdoors, and did you have an easier time adjusting to, playing inside?
Jay, cut the chase. You're talking about a brother from Florida going to Minnesota in 15 degree below zero weather. How in the hell am I going to adjust to that? Helen, I just told you I never wanted to play for Minnesota, but I needed a job. So beggars can't be choosy. But I do remember Bud Grant coming to me once I made the team and said, hey, listen, there's something here that we call a Alberta Clipper. I said, well, who is she? He said, no, this is a weather pattern that comes through, Minnesota, and it'll come through during the winter. So don't worry about trying to lead the league because it's a fierce wind and cold weather and all of that stuff. I said, Coach, I can handle it. So I thought until one of my coldest days of that early winter, I can remember Fran Tarkenton coming up to me and said, homeboy, you look like you're cold. I said, hell, Fran, I am cold. I'm from Florida. He gave me a pair of gloves. He said, now, when Bud asks you where you got them, you tell him you got them from me. Because you got to remember, Bud Grant didn't allow gloves on his sideline. He did not allow heaters on the sideline. Even though both teams were on the same sideline, the other team had their heaters on. Ours were not. I started itching back over towards the other team, and he doesn't miss a thing. He said, Coleman, get back over here. I said, Coach, I'm cold. So Fran gave me some gloves, and sure enough, I'm wearing the gloves. And when I come off, Bud looks at me and says, where'd you get those gloves? I said, I got them from Tarkenton. That's when I knew how much juice Fran Tarkenton had at Minnesota. Mm-hmm. He said, well, you can keep them, but keep them in your pocket. Don't let anybody else see them. So that's how I survived. But also, I found out and figured out as long as I kept my feet dry, so I would change shoes and socks after pregame warm-up, after halftime, and I would stay on the tarp. That as long as I could stay dry, I was good. And as long as everybody else had to punt and play in the same weather, nobody got an unfair advantage. But you do what those are the adjustments that you make. And in the course of the journey, you know that you're going to have to adjust, adapt, and execute to a different game plan, whatever that might be. And those things that I learned at FAMU, those are some of the things that I've learned, lessons learned in the NFL, and they still serve me today. Because in life, in this journey, you're going to have to adjust, adapt, and execute. People talk about, shift, change, pivot. Pivot. I never played basketball, but I punted. And I used the acronyms from punt as a metaphor for life. And I actually wrote a book based on this metaphor. Punt, you got to push through your obstacles. You got to understand your strength because God gave you something that he didn't give anybody else. Then you got to navigate through the crap of life because you're always going to have some crap. then you master those, and then you take calculated risks. So those are the things that I choose to take with me, regardless of whether, it's in season or out of season, whether I'm talking to a high school football team, a stay-at-home mom, or a CEO from a corporation. Punt. Most people think when they hear the word punt or see when the punter comes out on the field that it's an act of surrender, but it's really not. It's one of the most strategic moves in all of sports. You can either pin the opponent inside the 5-yard line. You can run for a first down off a fake punt. You can have a punt return. You can do all those things, but you have to have the mindset that you just can't keep still. Punting is not an act of surrender. It's what we do. And if I had to do this journey all over again, guess what, guys? I would still choose to be a punter, because we're the only ones, one of the only two people that actually put our foot on the ball. And I'm the only guy as a punter that can flip the field. Nobody else can do that. I think that's a special trait, a special gift that God gave only a few of us in the world.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Can't argue with that. Mr. Coleman, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
What was obviously you kicked in Minnesota and Chicago and Green Bay and all these cold places. What was the toughest place to kick in?
Well, back in the day, Green Bay split some of their home games. So we used to play some of those games in Milwaukee. And I would say at Old County Stadium in Milwaukee one season, my God, it was horrible. The sun was shining the first half. Second half, it started to rain. The wind picked up, and then it started to snow. And I think those conditions, now don't get me wrong, we had some hideous conditions in Minnesota. I think the coldest I've ever played in, temperature-wise, was 25 below with a 40-plus wind chill factor below. But the game in Milwaukee almost made me quit. It really did. But hey, when in Rome, you do what the Romans do.
Absolutely. Chris, you got anything for Mr. Coleman?
I'm still trying to play catch up, so I don't know what was asked. So,
All right. So
I'm gonna shoot from the hip a little bit. So give me a minute.
Go for it.
Absolutely.
Well, so I have one while he's catching up. So we were talking about punting the ball, getting inside the red zone, getting inside the 20, getting inside the 10. Flip the side of the field. When you are punting out of the back of your own end zone, and teams are really, really chomping at the bit to try to get at. What were your thoughts with that? How did you handle that mentally, knowing that, we just saw it in the national championship game for college. They blocked that punt for a touchdown, and that was a huge play in the game. What are your thoughts when you had to punt out of the back of your own end zone?
Fundamentals. Stick to your fundamentals. Because emotions can drive you to do something. Your feelings and emotions can drive you to do things that may not serve you well. Put the hero syndrome out of your mind. Your team needs you to get the ball off. Give me 44 yards, 4.4 hang time, and 4.4 yards of return. You can live. And that's what my team depended on me to do. Now, obviously, I wanted a bigger punt. I wanted the 50-yarder or the 60-yarder. But, sometimes you can, this old saying of out kicking your coverage, there's no such thing. That's a bunch of crap. You got two gunners on the outside. Your job is to get down the field and make the tackle. So out kicking your coverage was something that I never worried about. But to answer your question, Jeff, man, when you're backed up in your end zone, the focus has to be razor sharp. You don't worry about the left, what's happened on your right, because number one, make sure that you can catch the ball. Because, I had a lot of different centers during my career. And sometimes you didn't know if it was coming to the left, the right, on the ground, or over your head. So the Boy Scout motto, I don't know if any of you guys were Boy Scouts. The Boy Scout motto is be prepared. So I was prepared for anything that happened during the course of being backed up in my own end zone. But the focus for me was fundamentals. Short right, left, boom, punt, extend, follow through. And if somebody got close to me, maybe I could reach out with a leg or arm or something. I can hook them and draw a penalty flag. I'm not saying that punters act and all of those things, but the rules state that you can't touch the punter, especially if a leg is off the ground. I can remember one year I got hit 13 times, but 11 out of the 13 times we either scored a field goal or extra point. And that's when I think Mike Ditka, Don Shula, maybe Hugh Culverhouse, and a few others went to the rules committee. And if a punter inflicted or tried to draw a penalty flag, they would throw that on the punter. That was the old Greg Coleman rule, because Mike Ditka used to curse me out something fierce, because they always thought that Fensick and Plank could come off the corners and block a punt, but they never did. Never got a punt block with the Bears. So those are some of the things that I remember. You're forcing me to remember, because you still get those butterflies. If you don't get butterflies when you're backed up in your own end zone, then you don't need to be on the field.
Okay. So my question, looking back now, how does it feel playing in that era, one of the greatest eras of playing football now?
I can say that I was so blessed, and God has given me a lot of journey behind, but also journey in front. But being able to play during a time where I saw the league emerge from a game to a business, I think I went through 2 work stoppages, strikes, that's what we call them, being a player rep and all of those things, understanding the difficulties about the business end of it, but also seeing the game evolve with some of my contemporaries. A guy like James Shaq Harris and Doug Williams and Marlon Briscoe's, the young black quarterbacks who trailblazed the league, who beat the misnomer and the dumb mindsets that black quarterbacks couldn't handle complicated offenses. There were a few positions that were taboo, and I was a part of that era. That's number one, the black quarterback. Then some thought that playing the center position, because you had to make the necessary calls for the offensive line, and then middle linebacker was the other, because you were the quarterback of the defense, and then punters and kickers. So I grew up during a time where listen, let me tell you, I did not start out wanting to be a black kicker, a black punter in the NFL. I started out to being a punter who happened to be black, and given the right opportunity and a fair assessment, apples to apples, I would bet on me any day. Any day. The myth of the black quarterback has been resolved. We see kids playing phenomenal, doing some great things now. I still believe that there is a still somewhat of a stain on the black kicker and black punter. We only have one black punter. It's Carlos Wakeman for Pittsburgh right now. Marquette King still should be punting in the NFL from HBCU Fort Valley. You can count them on a hand of how many black punters and kickers that have been in the NFL.
Jeff, Jay, we ain't getting no volume from you.
Say again.
No.
Nope, Jay, no, they ain't got you.
Yeah, your mic is showing red in the front.
Yep.
All right, so I got a question, because
Yes, sir.
So when I heard that you were coming on, do my due diligence, looking up some stuff, and it says that you remember the State of Florida Track and Field Hall of Fame. As a punter, did your coaches ever call for a fake punt and utilize the speed that you have? You said it earlier, 4.2, 4.3 speed. Man, that's a weapon back there. I don't know how teams can sit there and just come flying in knowing that you have that type of speed.
Well, a lot of times coaches didn't have to. Yeah, we had call fake punts, whether it was a pass or a run. But a lot of times, if I saw what the defense was doing, if they, I would do my homework with tendencies, watch film, and I knew that if they're going to set up a right return, that gunner's going to come around, turn his back to me, and I'm just going to take off right behind him. There were a number of times that we gained first downs, and I can remember one of those times that Bud didn't call it, and he said, "You know what? Let me give you my first fake punt with Minnesota." It was the 8th game of the season, and I got a chance to play against the Green Bay Packers. It was my first game, and Bud hadn't said anything to me up until I think it was inside of a minute. 4th and 11. We're backed up maybe to our own 32. And he said, "Do anything but don't get it blocked." Well, that's death for a punter. You don't tell him, you don't do that. So what am I going to do? I'm coachable. So I'm going to peek just a little bit to make sure that I don't get it blocked. Well, Fred McNeil misses a block over here. So you got to remember, we got Fran Tarkenton, Ahmad Rashad, Sammy White, Chuck Foreman in the backfield, all of those guys, great offense. But I'm hearing, don't get it blocked. So what I'll do, I take my step, and I'm thinking it's going to get blocked, so I take off around the right sideline. 4th and 11. So that means I got to make up 15 yards plus the 11 yards for the first down. That's almost, 27, 28 yards. And I see the first down mark, and I'm humping, and I'm getting it. I say, "Yeah, man, you're going to save the day. You're going to be the hero," and all of that stuff. And I stretch out, dive for the first down marker. And when they stretch those old chains out, I come up about that much short. And, back in the day, during that time of the year, most of the grass was gone. So it was, painted dirt and some grass. So stuff all in my helmet and in my eyes. So, I get up and it looks like, tears are coming out of my eyes. And who's the first person that meets me on defense? Captain Jim Marshall, followed by Carl Eller, Bobby Bryant. The list goes on and on and on. "Hey, Coleman, we got you, brother. Don't worry about it. We ain't never seen nobody with the gonads to run a ball around. We got you." Long story short, we win the game. But when I go to the sideline, Bud moseys over to me and say, "Well, what happened?" I said, "Coach, you said do anything but don't get it blocked." I didn't get it blocked. And he looked at me and said, "Listen, next time you run around here, you better make damn sure that you make it, or you just keep running your behind back and forth." But, you had to be strategic in those times, Jeff, with the fake punts and all of those things. Yeah, and I definitely utilized it as a deterrent, as a weapon, because in pregame warm-up, I would take a snap or two and I would throw a pass. Oh, man, he might – they put in a fake pass, and then I take the ball again and I take off to the left, take off to the right. So I put them in a safe zone on defense. Punt safe, because he's going to run. Watch the fake. So that would just give my guys enough time to get downfield the gunners and give me enough time to focus on the fundamentals to make sure that I executed a great punt.
Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
I like it.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, we got you,
Welcome
Jay.
back.
Good to be back. Okay, so I wanted to ask you, was there a punt returner that you kind of like Bud Grant said, don't kick it to him? Or was there like a punt block specialist that was known for blocking punts around the league? Did you ever encounter that?
Absolutely. A man that I've learned to love and respect after this journey, a young man by the name of Billy White Shoes Johnson. Billy got me twice my rookie year in Cleveland. The first one, great punt, had great coverage. Billy just maneuvered through, and I chased his behind into the end zone where him doing that, funky chicken dance. The second one was in Cleveland. I'd learned my lesson. I said, if you were going to touch the ball, it was going to be out of bounds. Literally kicked it to the sideline. Billy reached over, grabbed it. Everybody else on ice skates because the field was frozen. He goes left, right, back to the end zone. I'm chasing them again. But Billy White Shoes was the nemesis of punt returners back in the day. Now you talk about a guy, and I think his name was mentioned earlier, Ted Hendricks. I didn't really fear Ted Hendricks. The one man that I ever feared in the National Football League was Mel Blount for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because Mel played corner, but also Mel was the left end on their punt return team. And Mel is about 6'5", with a wingspan of 8 feet, and all he had to do is take 2 or 3 steps and reach his hand up. So I would always punt to the left. I would always punt away from Mel Blount. But Mel Blount was the only man that I ever feared. And I had the courage enough to tell him that almost 3 years ago, once I became inducted into the Black College Football Hall of Fame. And he said, Coleman, you got to be kidding. He said, because all I ever thought was, don't let Coleman get outside. Because we always knew that you were up for a fake punt, and he was absolutely right.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
It's good stories like this.
Oh yeah. So you played with, you said Sammy White, Ahmad Rashad. Did you ever think that Ahmad Rashad would shift into basketball and hosting his own NBA inside stuff? I mean, as a kid, people didn't have cable. It would come on NBC and, okay, this is the only basketball we can get for the week. And there it was. So what was that like, being around him?
Well, I mean, we all knew that Ahmad had great relationships outside of football. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Reggie Jackson. I remember Reggie came to training camp a few times. And Reggie was a hell of a long snapper. So during the course of practice, even being left-handed, Reggie would bend over and give me a couple of snaps during the course of practice. But we knew that Ahmad had the ability, and he was going to go in broadcasting. There was no doubt about it. He was MJ's, buddy in relationships and favor, and all of those things came into play. But relationships and favor might get you in the door, but you still got to do the work. And Ahmad did the work. Also hosted a player show, a sports show, his last few years in Minnesota. So you knew he was destined to be a part of that. He was a character. Definitely prepared himself for post football. A lot of guys leave from the field to the booth. We tried to follow in his footsteps. I was part of the Vikings radio broadcast for 20 plus years. So I learned some of those things about the craft from Ahmad without question.
Okay. And talking about transitioning, you're a motivational speaker. You've been doing it for a while. What sent you into that, in that field?
Jay, I first and foremost, let me, and this is not a shot. I don't call myself a motivational speaker because I can't motivate anyone, because motivation comes through a external stimuli and about feelings. If I feel good today, if I feel motivated, I'm going to do well. I consider myself an inspirational speaker that gives a message of hope, because if I can encourage you and inspire you to be 1% better than you were yesterday, every day, through habits and rituals, and through proven methods that can help you get to the next level, whatever that level might be for you. That's what I chose to do, because I understood at a very young age the power of words. And you know this old saying, maybe you might be too young for this, but back in the day, we used to have a saying, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt you. Well, that's a lie from the pit of hell. And I don't know if any of you, how many of you guys are married or have a significant other? Okay. How did you come together? It was words, that old lame rap that you laid on her. That was whatever those words were. That's what brought you together. And that's the power of words. So I use inspirational stories to try and inspire companies, corporations, even a stay-at-home mom about what's possible. Because I honestly believe that if I can share stories about overcoming an obstacle, having a resilient mindset, getting your butt up and making a shift, making a move, making a pivot, or if I can teach you how to punt, then the world would be a much better place.
All right. Chris, you want to take us to the, are you going to take us to break or no commercials?
His spot or no?
Oh, it's just time. So, sir, at this time point, we like to give our guests the opportunity to share any type of charities or books, whatever you have that we want to get out there so people can read it, inspire, and be an inspiration.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate that. A couple of things, there's a philanthropic arm that my wife and we created, the Greg Coleman Celebrity Golf Tournament up in Minneapolis for the last 26 years for the mentoring and tutoring and sports programs for the YMCA. I'm also the executive director of the Bob Hayes Invitational Track Meet down in Jacksonville, a track meet that I ran in as a high schooler, was the meet announcer for 40 plus years, and now I'm the executive director of that. We provide scholarships for kids who participated in track and field, who participated in a track meet. Coming up March 19th through the 20th this year, our headliner for our Hall of Fame gala is Melissa Jefferson Woodard, along with 4 others that will be going into the Bob Hayes Hall of Fame here. And you can go to BHITM22.org for that. The last thing I want to say that some of the things that I've been blessed to experience in my journey called life, I put into this book called Punt, P-U-N-T. It's available on Amazon, or you can go to my website, gregcoleman8.com. As I mentioned, a inspirational keynote speaker for organizations and corporations that's looking how to flip the field and get a leg up on life. But guys, it's been a pleasure being with you. Thanks for the opportunity to share some stories, and good luck. God bless each and every one of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you.
I must apologize for my tardiness. I had a little technical difficulties here.
Hey, listen, none of us are perfect, but that's why you got teammates. That's why you got this locker room that'll take care of you, man. They covered you. That's what a good teammate does.
Right.
Yeah. We try our best, sir.
That's all you can do.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you for coming on the
All right,
Long
guys.
Distance Playbook, sir.
Stay safe. God bless you.
You as well, sir.
You as well, sir.
And with that, we're going to take us a nice little break.
Hold on, Chris. Hey,
And we are back. And we lost Jay again.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him. But real quick to all of our viewers, here's some of the information from Greg Coleman. If y'all want to take a look at it on his Facebook, Instagram, his LinkedIn, his Twitter, and you can even scan to get a copy of his book. All right. And thank you for Mr. Greg Coleman for coming on the show. Now, let's get started. It is time for honors of the week. Our first honor of the week is kind of a multi honor of the week because we've got Mr. Jeff Kent, Carlos Beltran, and Andrew Jones have officially been inducted into the 2026 Baseball Hall of Fame.
Hold on.
Absolutely.
Wait. Before we go further.
Absolutely. What you
Here's
got?
a question that I have regarding this.
Okay.
Does Jeff Kent deserve to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame for my baseball aficionados?
Wow.
if he's not hitting behind Barry Bonds, they played together for 6 seasons.
Right.
His WAR was 5.27 with Bonds. It was 1.86 without. He averaged 29 home runs a season with Bonds, 15 a season without. And you can go through the stats. 95 runs per season, 58 without. 115 RBIs, 62 without. Batting average drops off over 20%. On-base percentage drops off 30%. Slugging percentage drops off 80%. Does he even deserve to be in the Hall of Fame and Barry Bonds not?
So I'm going to say this. That's not a I don't think that is fair statement, sir.
I'm just going on the facts.
I hear you.
Look, anything can always be debated in sports. That's why we love sports so much, right? However, the acknowledgement of him being inducted into the Hall of Fame, it can't be taken away now. No matter what, he is a Hall of Famer now.
He is.
I would say Jeff Kent was a good player, but he was never like a top 5 player in the league ever.
Hey, look. Number one, I was never a San Francisco Giants fan. I never was a Jeff Kent fan. But he did his job batting in front or behind Barry Bonds. And you got to always remember that is the effect of batting before or behind a great superstar player. Your numbers are going to go astronomically through the roof. Got to remember that.
I'm just saying, like Carlos Beltran, no one's going to argue. Probably the greatest switch hitter I've ever seen. And Andrew Jones is probably the greatest defensive center midfielder I've ever seen. But Jeff Kent, which one of these doesn't belong?
Oh. Well, he's there now.
He's there. Take it away.
Is JT Snow going to enter the Hall of Fame too?
All right. To move on, we have congratulations to the Indiana Hoosiers for winning the 2025 College Football Championship. Now, I know we normally do honors of the week and then we go over to Jeff's red card report, but we're changing it up a little bit because we're going straight into.
Oh, wait a minute. Time out.
What you got?
You know what he has.
I know what he said.
I want the flag on the play.
Hold on. We're not done yet.
No, we're not done at all because I deserve to be in the honors of the week.
I apologize, Chris. You know what? We'll change it up real quick. How's this?
Okay.
So we're also going to highlight Mr. Chris Hunt for winning the show's NCAA football championship for the season?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I see where you lay at, but remember that in 3 weeks or in February. You understand?
I won't forget.
Hey, Mason, he wants you to play Randy the Macho Man Savage music for his championship. That's what he wants.
As you all see, though, we all went 1-0. Everybody on the show picked Indiana. Congratulations. However, this was our overall records. All right. Now, Jeff, he wasn't with us the whole season. He did have the highest percentage, but we will see how Jeff does next season. It's going to be interesting. Hey, so guys, we all know the Indiana Hoosiers won the NCAA championship game 27-21 in Miami, right? What's your thoughts about it?
Well, I will start off with this, right? You start slow. You against Indiana, you're not going to beat them. You have to match their intensity. If they score, you must score. Their defense gets better and better as the game goes along. That volume offensive line that Miami had didn't really do well to me early with that defensive line and the zone blitzing that they ran.
Good, Jay.
So for me, as I was saying about Indiana's team, top to bottom, whether it was special teams, offense, or defense, every unit that stepped on the field, they played 100% the whole night. They had a block punt. They had key catches down the stretch. Their running game was on point when it needed to be. The defense made stops, even though they gave up chunks of plays here and there. But if you saw their defense, they stepped up when they had to. They closed the door at the end of the game. It was the defensive unit to actually win the game for them at the end. In beginning, special teams, in the middle, offense. So all three components, those three elements, they did what they needed to do, and they showed you how they played throughout the whole season, and it came together against Miami. And Miami probably played one of their better games, but it was just too much Indiana, too much special teams, too much offense, too much defense.
So, little known fact, Jamari Sharp, the guy who intercepted the ball right at the end when Miami's trying to come back, is the nephew of Glenn Sharp, who was a cornerback who was called for a late pass interference call back in 2002 when Miami was playing Ohio State. That phantom call that came 10 seconds after everyone storming the field, yeah, that's his uncle. So I when I was looking at it, I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Wow.
But for me, this comes down to, that game was, I looked at it as styles makes fights. Indiana was the consummate professional, not really flashy, but they do everything well. But Miami was the potential juggernaut, the unorthodox fighter that can hit you from every single angle. And you saw first half, there wasn't a lot of explosiveness, but Indiana just consummate professional. Second half, Miami, Mark Fletcher, I thought Miami was dead and gone, and then Mark Fletcher has a 57-yard touchdown run. And then I'm like, okay, game on now. Game on. Indiana, their first 13 snaps in the second half, they gained like 11 yards. So second half, Miami comes out, and I'm like, okay, now it's a ball game. So you got the Fletcher's touchdown, and I think Indiana went and scored again, and then you had Malachi Toney's 22-yard touchdown. So now at this point, I'm like, okay, here we go. Everyone's they're trading blows. This is a ball game. And one thing that I thought was really key was I think it was 4th and 5. And it looked like Indiana was going to kick a field goal, and they call a timeout. They go to commercial break, they come back, and then they throw that back shoulder pass to Becker. And I'm like, wait, you just went from a field goal to a risky back shoulder throw, but it was a huge, huge play. And then Mendoza's run for a touchdown, that 12-yard run, where it's a ping pong ball. Like, to me, that was gutsy because it looked like he was taking some hits. His offensive lineman had to pick him up off the ground, but he's playing like it was a national championship game. So respect to that. But the biggest play for me throughout the whole game was that black punt. Miami had all the momentum. And that black punt basically did just enough to get Indiana to kind of get their legs together and come back and start swinging. So definitely a game of two different halves, but it was what I wanted to see in a national championship game.
Chris, you going to say something?
Oh, yes. Hey, what was the halftime score?
Was it 10-0?
10-0 Indiana.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What did I say last week? Before the game. I said if they come out stagnant, not ready to play, Indiana's going to jump on them, and they can't come back. Indiana did not allow any team to come back. Get close enough. They played, don't get me wrong. Miami played a great second half. That first half killed them.
Yeah. It's about how you start the game, and it's also about how you finish, right? But you got to come out strong too.
Well, it's not just.
I want to give Indiana.
Who you playing? If you're playing against an average team, you can start slow. But if you're playing against a team that has no holes, well, for you to catch up, they're getting their second win, and then by the time you catch up to them, they pedal on the gas. And there you go. It's tough.
I said that Carson Beck needed to outplay Fernando Mendoza, and I said he needed to throw for at least 250 yards, more likely 275 to win. He threw for 232. Now, if he connects on that pass play that got picked off late in the fourth, he's over 250, and Miami probably punches it in to win that game.
Possibly.
But also, I think Carson Beck showed that he is almost NFL ready.
Okay, that's better.
Almost.
But after 6 years, almost? Okay.
Well, I'm saying what. So if you look at it, right, we all know Mendoza's probably going to go number one.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we can almost put a good bet on that. He goes number one.
Mm-hmm.
Carson Beck is probably going to go either in the third or the fourth round.
I say it's later.
It's
you
not.
Think so?
This is not a quarterback heavy draft this year, because you got to remember Dante Moore went out. Trinidad Chambliss is still trying to get another year eligibility. Sorsby stayed. Levette stayed.
Yeah.
So all your top quarterbacks this year, going into the year, are all staying in college. And I hate to say it, next year is it's the Arch Manning draft. You might well just call it that.
I mean, Arch Manning better show up better than he did this year, though.
Well, I mean, at the end of the season, Arch Manning was there, so we'll see how he starts the season next season. But I was going to say we got to give kudos to the Indiana Hoosiers offensive and defensive coordinator for being prepared. For the offensive coordinator side, being prepared for the Miami defense that people have struggled with recently, and to counter that a little bit, right? And then for the Indiana defense to keep Miami out of the game the entire first half. So that when you can do that as the coordinators, and I think that speaks volumes to Kurt Cignetti, the head coach, right? He has built he has an attitude, an atmosphere, right, in Indiana that I think a lot of people are going to want to go to. And let's see how things shake up during the off season. Let's see who goes to Indiana, and let's see who graduates and goes to the draft and gets picked, and let's see all this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who won money on the game?
Well, that's because in your two locations, y'all can actually do those
play
things.
on college.
Yeah, y'all can do those things. We can't.
Give me about 5 more months, Jeff. I'll be there with you.
But you know what's interesting to me about that?
There's no sports betting in Texas. Just so you know.
Online.
Look, so you know what's interesting to me about this though is you can bet on the game and the results, but you can't bet on individual players. Right. But in the NFL, you can. Right? They don't want players to be paid. Right. To do it. But it's okay to do it with the pros because we just got this probe where they're getting all sorts of people. So it just doesn't make sense. Somebody got to make it make sense to me.
All right. Anybody got anything else on the Hoosiers beating the Hurricanes in Miami? Anybody got anything else on that game? No? Oh, at this time, we're going to move from college football and move on to the Red Card Report. Yes, it's you.
All right. I got a couple things I want to talk about, but mostly we're going to talk about the AFCON, African Cup of Nations. So, again, host nation is Morocco, favorite nation. This was a game back and forth. In my opinion, Senegal was a better team. In the 92nd minute, corner comes across, right? So they've already played the full 90. 92nd minute, Senegal has a corner. Comes across, guy heads it back across the goal, someone else scores. Referee calls a foul on the initial hitter. Senegal players are irate, so upset because throughout the course of the tournament, Morocco has received some favorable calls. And this is a really ticky-tacky touch foul. I see it in every game. They never call it. Less than 4 minutes later, corner kick on the other side, Morocco receives a penalty kick for another foul that I see 15 times a game if I'm watching Premier League football. So the Senegal team loses their minds. And so I put some notes, bullet point notes of what I saw take place during that time frame. First, the Senegal coach ordered his players off the pitch. Enough was enough. He was just done. He was beside himself. So he's yelling at his players to get off the pitch. The Senegal fans start fighting with the police. They're throwing chairs at the police, and the police are trying to hold them back. It's something that has plagued the AFCON for years, the level of perceived corruption that's taking place. And this is basically Morocco's the home team. So in the quarterfinal, Cameroon had 2 clear penalty kicks against Morocco, both waved away. In the semifinals, the Nigerian players were so upset because the referee basically called it entirely one way for Morocco. Their term they said it was scandalous how bad it was. So then again, ahead of the finals, Senegal had to travel via train to the game with barely any security. So for me, I'm looking at it. I'm seeing all the people and all the fans that are around them as they're trying to come through out of the train. It's like being in DC on the metro during rush hour. It was that many people around the players. Remember, Morocco is the host nation, and they don't have very much security. So it was really, really bad situation. They struggled to even find hotels to accommodate the players. So again, a bad look overall for AFCON when it comes to that. But this is some of the things that took place even during the finals. So So Morocco players and their ball boys, and they had staff members going and take the goalie's towel. Periodically, a goalie's going to go and grab his towel, wipe his face, but wipe his hands and keep his gloves dry so he has better grip on the ball. Well, they kept on taking the towel and throwing it away. Even during the finals, Senegal's backup keeper was behind the goal trying to save or protect the towel because the ball boys and some of their players, he was literally assaulted trying to keep the towel so that Edouard Mendy, the Senegalese keeper, would have it. And he's getting tackled on the field by 4 or 5 ball boys. So it was literally pandemonium. Like, because that type of stuff, if it happened in a Premier League game, if it happened in the Bundesliga, that's a red card, right? It would never take place. But out of all this red card report madness, I'm gonna tell you, the person that impressed me the most was Sadio Mane of Senegal. He stayed on the field. He urged his team to come back on the field and finish the game, even though it looked like they were going to get Morocco's going to take the penalty and score, and that's going to be the end of the game. He said, nope, we're going to be stand-up players. We're going to be stand-up individuals, and we'll just take whatever it is, regardless. Funny as fate has it, Ibrahim Diaz tries to do a Panenka. Weak penalty kick gets saved. And 26 minutes later, Senegal actually scores after extra time and wins the AFCON tournament. So Sadio Mane, for me, man amongst men, stood up, had his team come back out, and ultimately win the prize. But just pure pandemonium, pure soap opera. I kind of like General Hospital for America, EastEnders for people in England, people in Germany. What's it? Gute Sinte Schlechte Siegten, something like that. So, I mean, it was just drama. It had a little bit of everything. I'm hoping as time goes and more people watch AFCON, they start getting rid of some of the silliness and it becomes more of a professional environment, because it took away from a lot of great play, a lot of great talent, a lot of great players.
That's all you have today, Jeff?
Yeah, unless you guys want me to tell you what's playing this weekend.
You can.
All right. So in England, for today, England, Man City looked to bounce back after losing to Bodo Glimt in the Champions League in the midweek, which was a huge shock. I lost money on that one. And then Liverpool traveled to Bournemouth. In Spain, Real Madrid traveled to Villarreal, looking to extend their current win streak to 3. They absolutely demolished Monaco during the midweek in Champions League. The final score was like 5 or 6-1. And then in Germany, Bayern Munich take on Augsburg. So that's, probably another 5-1 game for them. In Italy, league leaders Inter Milan beat bottom dwellers Pisa 6-2 yesterday. So they'll remain on the top of the league. And then on Sunday, in England, Chelsea will take on Crystal Palace, fresh off struggling through the midweek against Minnows Paphos. And then biggest game in the Premier League for the weekend is going to be Arsenal versus Manchester United, which also takes place tomorrow. In Spain on Sunday, Atletico Madrid hosts Mallorca and Barcelona hosts Oviedo. If you're betting, bet on both of those teams. Parlay, you should win some money. And then in Italy, Juventus take on Napoli, which is number 3 versus number 5. And Roma hosts AC Milan, which is number 4 versus number 2. So there's some good games out there. Stay tuned. Again, this is still transfer season. We haven't had any ridiculous transfers yet, but as the deadline draws to an end, teams get more and more desperate. That's when you'll see a lot of movement in the market. That's it for today for the Red Card Report.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Jeff.
Absolutely. All right. Chris, you want to keep rolling?
Let's keep it rolling.
All right. So we're going to move over to now our famous the lightning round. So there's a lot of stuff going on, right, guys, in sports right now. Jay, you've been highlighting, I think, some stuff on our Facebook page, right? I think one of them was Jimmy Butler. What'd you got on that?
Ooh, Jimmy Butler is now going to be out. He tore his ACL, and out for the season looks like. I'm not sure what Golden State's going to do at this point. I mean, they're going to need to make a trade or something to that production.
Who is the most likely trade partner for Golden State? Who did Golden State try to trade for last year? Anybody?
Oh, you think Giannis?
No.
But here's one thing you are missing. Yes, Jimmy Butler is injured. Another key player got injured also this week for Golden State. That was Mr. Kuminga. We don't know how long he's going to be out.
That's bad.
If he's out for a long period of time, then they won't be players in the market. But if he's out for a short period of time, Golden State was trying to get LeBron last year. Now, I think it'd be great to watch LeBron and Steph play together, but I don't think that's a championship formula because both of them at this stage of their career are liabilities on the defensive end of the ball. So, great to look at offensively, but not winning ball. So it depends. If Kamavinga's out for a period of time, I don't think they're probably sellers in the market.
They're reachable by a few teams because right now they're in the play-in games. They're sitting in the 8th spot. So, and you know the bad part is, the only good thing is they still got Seth. You know, if he don't get hurt or he turned about 10 years younger, he's gonna need a running partner. He needs somebody to put points up. So don't be surprised that, you know, certain teams become real sellers real quickly.
Mm-hmm. There's no point to pay the penalty, right? If I have no chance my only chance is to play a game, but I don't really have a legitimate chance, I'm gonna sell some assets and rebuild, retool.
Buddy Hill is always on the market.
Always. He's been on the market since he's at Oklahoma. He's always on the market.
But it's funny, since we are talking NBA, right? Detroit played the last game without Cade Cunningham. And they're still beating teams. Cade Cunningham leads their team in scoring and assists.
Look, when you have the first round draft pick for the past decade in a row, when you got the first pick in the draft or top 3 pick in the draft for the past decade, you should win some games, I think.
Well, so what's the problem with Washington?
It's Washington. Thank you. See?
Why don't you?
I'm just all I'm doing is just actually echoing what you said and using that same analogy.
It's Washington.
All right, and I'm gonna put this out there right now. This is not a scripted show. And
Facts.
What happened exactly when Chris said those words and that phrase? We are triggered. And the DMV, we are triggered.
Absolutely.
This is Washington.
One of the most, it tells you everything you need to know that one of the most memorable commercials that everyone in the DMV knows about the Eastern Motors commercial. Everybody knows. Everybody's been in it. It's such a bootleg video because the words, the people's mouths aren't even in sync with the words, but everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. And they've done it with every single person who's from the DMV, whether it's Allen Iverson or I think Carmelo Anthony, and they're all wrong. It's DMV.
So, you know, another surprise is Boston. Without Jason Tatum, They're sitting second overall in the East. That's a surprise.
I don't think that's a surprise.
Hey, Mr. Brown is carrying that team on his back.
But if you've seen in the finals, he's the one. He's that guy. They anointed somebody else, but when it comes down to the playoffs and when it came down to the finals, he's that guy. Always has been. They just liked somebody else a little bit better.
And we saw who was benched in the Olympics too.
Right. Barely got any playing time.
Hey, I get it. But like I said about Seth, he needs running partners, consistent. Derek White, yeah, he ain't the Derek White from last year.
No, but he does his job. I feel like they have a bunch of role players who they haven't asked to replace. They just asked everyone to step up just a little bit more. And so everyone's still playing within themselves. So, and they're coached well. So it's not a surprise to me.
You know, Boston's one of those teams where they're not fighting over the ball. Everybody knows option one, option two. If you get a rebound, you can shoot. But if not, get the ball back to the ones and twos, and no one complains. That's how Boston has stayed winning, and their coaching is good, the organization, so they can lose a piece or two and still put a good product on the court.
So that brings me to my next team. So everybody, we could talk about OKC. We know OKC is dominant, right? So we don't even need to go down that road. But look at San Antonio.
Oh, no. San Antonio, look, that is the team that Oklahoma City doesn't want to see.
Yes.
They do not want to see the Spurs. The Spurs got their number. So a healthy Spurs team, Oklahoma City ain't got nothing for them. I just, just looking at the roster top to bottom, for me, like Stephen Castle's been playing well. I love De'Aaron Fox. Like, I think he's such an underrated player. He can fly out the ball.
He found his home. He found somewhere like he can play.
Because Sacramento just didn't appreciate him like they should have. And then it's like a resurgence for Harrison Barnes, right? He's the consummate professional that all the younger guys are saying, okay, this is what it takes day in, day out. Because Harrison Barnes has got to be, 33, 35 years old. He's been in the league for a long period of time. Yeah. If they see his work ethic and the things that you have to do to succeed in the league and maintain in the league, that's big. And then obviously Wembanyama is an absolute monster. Like, we've never seen anything like that.
So what do you think about Toronto?
Toronto's sleeping. Like, I literally was just looking at. I'm stunned. Honestly,
they quickly overtook the Knicks.
I'm stunned. I've heard in the East, stunned.
I'm just looking at it like this. Like, you got teams like Denver still hanging around the top three, even though Joker is injured right now. Jamal Murray stepping up, putting in light of missing them points. I think his averages went from 20 points a game to almost 27 points a game. Aaron Gordon is playing all out of his mind right now. Part of that team,
back from being injured. Yep. So, but back to what you said about Toronto. The only thing that troubles me about Toronto is regular season. I want to see how they play after the All-Star break. Because for me, RJ Barrett does not play winning ball. Brandon Ingram does not play winning ball.
So now you got the Timberwolves who sitting in the playing group.
You think they're worried about anybody they have to play against? Anthony Edwards ain't worried about nobody.
But here's the thing. Would you rather be in the play-in or would you rather be chilling?
Oh, look, absolutely. But we're talking about Anthony Edwards, right? That team won't win a chip, but any team that has to play them is going to have some sleepless nights.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be able to stop him every night. And when he gets off, and it's going to be like, hey, we just got to take that L.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's a surprise to me. Also, the Clippers being a surprise, sitting at 10. Even though they're
bodies.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Why is that a surprise to you, though?
Why do I think the Clippers sitting at 10 is a surprise? That ageless, that talent that they have is old, but they still do it. It's just you're relying on too much of, God, what's his name? The beard.
James Harden.
Oh, James Harden?
You're relying too much on James Harden, and Kawhi has to step up too. Kawhi can't just always be that balanced guy. He's got to do a little bit more. So he should be doing more.
The thing about the Clippers that I'll say is I didn't think they'd be good in the regular season. They got too many people who are 33, 35 plus. But if they make it to the playoffs and they shrink that rotation, that's when things get tough. Because when that rotation, you got Bradley Beal there, you got Brook Lopez, who big man who can shoot a three, you got Kawhi, you got Bogdanovich, you got Nicholas Batum, you got James Harden. You got players that when you shrink the rotation down and those games slow down, so you don't have Kawhi and James Harden, the older players, expending as much energy. That's a harder matchup when that bench goes from, hey, I'm playing 12 players at this game, 12, 13 players, to I'm playing 8 or 9. So I'm sure the rest of the league, Western Conference, is like, I hope these dudes don't make it because that's going to be a tough out.
But I don't see the Clippers making it because I don't think the people on the team are being utilized the right way either. So
you think Ty Lue's doing a bad job?
Ty Lue?
Mm-hmm.
I've never found him to be a formidable coach.
So here's the thing with the Clippers. What team you think can overtake them to get them out of the play-in? That's the key. And
what can the Clippers do to make
No. What team can overtake them?
Well, it's not going to be anybody because if you look at the people underneath, the Mavericks are sellers, the Grizz are sellers, the Jazz are the Jazz, and the Kings and the Pelicans aren't even worth mentioning.
Well, it's something that you have to realize when it comes to most professional sports. You can have an aging team. If they have skill, they'll beat the weaker opponents. Mm-hmm. They'll win the games they're supposed to win, but they're not going above and beyond. But if you play them against the New Jersey Nets or the Brooklyn Nets and some of these Washington Wizards, they'll beat those teams. And
so
yeah,
you're right. Now moving on a little bit, this is lightning round. We're gonna move over to NCAA basketball for women.
I'll say one thing. I was very disappointed watching South Carolina.
What do you mean?
Thursday.
You can't be disappointed. Everybody that plays South Carolina takes their game to a new level.
Yep.
Everybody. This young lady, Chavez, went berserk in overtime. What you gonna do? She hot. You gonna keep putting that ball in her hand.
I'm just saying. For me, I was disappointed. I was disappointed by South Carolina. One, their execution offensively, but more so their defensive effort throughout the game. Because when they want to lock you up, they've shown they will put forth the effort and the attitude to lock you up. It was too much. They got to step on me. I'm just gonna let them blow by. Ooh, open J. Like it was a little bit too much for me, and that's not what I'm used to seeing from a team coached by Dawn Staley. So I was a little bit disappointed by their effort in that game.
But with Chris was saying, you know what, you're gonna get everybody's best shot every night. And basketball is like the closest thing to baseball where no team's gonna go undefeated. And it's tough.
Wait, but
to bring that same energy every night.
In women's college basketball, it's not unfamiliar for teams to actually go undefeated, though.
Okay.
Just saying. UConn's done it, South Carolina's done it. So, and that's not in ancient history.
But it's not easy.
Right.
No, but what's
not
the mark of a champion, right? What's the mark of greatness?
No.
What's the mark of greatness?
You can't be perfect.
What's the mark of greatness?
What? So,
Jeff, you asked what's the question of what's the mark of greatness?
Yep.
It's not marked on one game that's
Correct.
played during the regular season, right?
Correct.
It's how you overcome a loss during the regular season
No.
that makes you even better for the
It is.
Yes.
It is consistently performing at a high level. Anyone can hit the high level, but being able to consistently do it game in, game out, that's greatness. And if you watch the South Carolina game like I did, you will see that they were not performing anywhere near as well as they should have been.
My definition of greatness is playing at a level higher than everybody else when the games matter. I don't care about a game early in the season, this, that, and the other. It's when playoff time comes. Can you elevate your game? That's greatness. Being able to elevate when the games matter.
All right,
Do or die, can you play?
So here's my question with that. Earlier, we were talking about it's important that you start off early. You start off well. That's what we're talking about in the national championship game for college football. And now we're saying, I don't care what takes place during the season. I just need you to be great at the end.
Apples and oranges.
Apples and oranges. Okay.
No.
So when you lose a game early in the season, and that causes you not to have home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs. Like for instance, which almost caught up with somebody's Rams. Then you're saying, "Dag, I wish we hadn't flubbed that game early in the season."
As I said before, that's football, not basketball and not baseball. It's a totally different thing.
Basketball is more momentum.
The two games that South Carolina lost, if you tell me that is as well as they can play, if you compare that to what I've seen from them for the past 2 years preceding this season, the level of effort and the level of dedication on the defensive side of the ball is not the same. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe
they don't change.
Maybe the talent level changed. Maybe they haven't gotten into their stride of how they want to play. A lot of teams, it does take a little time to gel on that.
We almost 20 games into the season.
But you ain't letting me finish, sir. A lot of times they don't pick up that pace until they start conference play for the tournament, that bracket, right? So right now, do you think there's a team in the SEC that can actually dismount?
I'm not.
South Carolina.
Well, one, Oklahoma's in the SEC, right?
Yes.
That's who they just lost to, right?
Look, listen to my point now. Listen to my point.
I just answered the question.
I know, I got it, but listen to the point. We finna go into, they're gonna start, this is starting to get hot and heavy. The season started in November.
Yep.
And all these games are all going into conference play, right? Who wins the SEC? I'll wait.
I got you. You ready? That game is going to be determined sometime, I do believe, this week when South Carolina has to play undefeated Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
If Vanderbilt comes out on top, then everybody's going to look at that and say, okay, maybe Vanderbilt's a serious team. But if South Carolina rebounds from this loss to Oklahoma, now what? it's about how you bounce back after a loss. If South Carolina keeps it close for Vanderbilt, people may be like, okay, maybe Vanderbilt's still serious. If South Carolina goes in there and mollywops Vanderbilt, people will be like, even regardless of Vanderbilt's record, South Carolina's still the team to beat. So we're going to have to see how that game plays out.
Y'all looking at it from the SEC perspective. I'm looking at it from the national championship.
No. I'm looking at it from both perspectives.
Well, they first have to win their conference.
No, they don't. They're gonna be one of the top teams to make the tournament, regardless of whether they win the tournament or not. So for me, right. I'm looking at whether or not is that team capable of making a run, essentially of greatness, because you're gonna have to be great every single game to go ahead and win a chip.
If they lose 4 games in conference, right? Look, I'm just going to say this, right? 9 times out of 10, that's the team that beat them. That's the highlight of their season.
Yes.
Okay.
And all that energy it took mentally and physically to beat South Carolina, they ain't doing it again.
Wait. So here's my question. Since it's the highlight of these teams' season to beat them in the tournament, when they're playing in the national championship tournament, is it going to be any different?
Yes.
How's it going to be? They're going to get everyone's best game there.
We all know this, that if South Carolina stays healthy and all their parts are there, when it counts, they're going to play a little differently than they played on a Tuesday night in January.
All right. So I will put their money where their mouth is. My money is that South Carolina doesn't win the chip this season. Who wants some of that bet?
Come on.
I'm going to take the field.
That's 1 versus 12 other teams.
I'm taking the field.
Of course, the ball can bounce one way or the other.
Oh, now the ball can bounce one way or the other.
No.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is...
let's play the game then. Let's play the game. You saying they're not going to win. Who going to win?
Right now, it's UConn.
Okay. So UConn is undefeated, and UConn and Vanderbilt are currently the only 2 teams in college.
If you watch UConn play
basketball,
UConn
undefeated.
I can't say his. I be jacking his name up, so I don't want to destroy his name. I ain't taking nothing away from him. He's always been a dominant.
I can't pronounce his name either. Aurem something. I can't. He's been there for a minute. We should be able to pronounce it, but
and he's been rather successful there too.
Yes.
Just call him Gino Auriemma, something like that, right?
Gino
Auriemma, something like that.
So,
hey, real quick, without looking it up, how many teams are undefeated in men's college basketball?
2.
I thought 1.
3. There's 3. You ready?
No, Nebraska,
Arizona,
Nebraska, and Miami of Ohio.
Yes.
They're 20-0.
One of these kids is doing his own thing. One of these kids is not like the same.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, and that's the segue into our next topic that we're going to talk about: college men's basketball. Yep. Right? Can Arizona keep the pace?
I don't see much getting in the way, to be honest with you. They can just beat you in too many different ways. Early in the season, it was that freshman Pete, and he was giving the business to UConn and stuff like that. And now he's not even averaging 10 points a game over like the last 10. Everybody else is balling. So Arizona can just beat you in too many different ways. They're gonna be a tough out.
One bad night, they gone.
That's with anybody. All I'm saying is right now, they're a tough team to beat. But Michigan's a tough team to beat too, to be honest.
Michigan, but that's that Big Ten team. The Big Ten team is that's a different animal. You that's a whole different, because like you got Nebraska over there undefeated, and you're like, how? But then when you go and look at their schedule, right? They beaten the teams they wasn't supposed to beat. And that's the key of having a great team. You beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and then you figure out a way to beat the teams you ain't supposed to beat.
Absolutely.
I'm surprised that UConn is 2, to be honest with you.
I wouldn't. They have the talent. They are a well-coached, well-balanced team. They can beat you in multiple ways.
But Jeff, what are you surprised about?
Early in the season, they lose to. They lose. Was it to Florida? I'm trying to think I was just kind of like, this team. No, they beat Florida. Who did they lose to? Somebody help me.
Hold on, I'll tell you. Give me a second. Who did UConn lose to?
Arizona.
Oh.
Yeah. So they lost to Arizona. I saw them struggle with Florida, who I don't think is as good as this year. They barely beat Georgetown last weekend. Right. The Big East seems to be giving them problems. They barely beat Seton Hall. So I'm not saying they're not a good team because I think they got talent. They got a really good coach. And I kind of pull for them because they got 2 of the boys on the team used to play ball with my son when he was younger. Jane and Jacob Ross used to play ball with my son when they were younger. So I cheer for them. I was just surprised that they were 2 in the nation.
But why? Because their only loss is Arizona. So when your only loss is the top team, right?
Sometimes, but if you look at the opponents they've played, especially in the Big East, you're not playing against teams that are highly ranked week in, week out.
Fair.
So that's why I was surprised to see them at 2. I see they haven't lost any games since that game, but the level of competition that they're playing doesn't necessarily match what you see when you get to the ACC or, truthfully, the SEC or Big Ten.
I agree, but I think that's what they're doing is giving them the benefit of the doubt, considering it was I do believe a 4-point loss to Arizona. So I mean, should it be different? Maybe a little bit, yeah, but it's not.
At the end of the day, they're both 1 seeds, right? Arizona, UConn. If the tournament starts today, they're both 1 seeds, probably in their respective regions. So to me, that's the only thing that really matters. I'm not saying they shouldn't be there. I was just surprised to see them there.
I got you.
I'm waiting to see, let's see as the season progresses. I don't know if they have any other big games out of, kind of out of the Big East moving forward for the rest of the season. So I like to see, at the beginning of the season, you always see, you got the ACC Big Ten championship where those teams play each other. I like to see when teams play cross conferences, but you usually don't see it later in the season. So it's kind of hard to get it's kind of hard to understand. Yeah, it's kind of hard to figure out, all right, this division right here is legit. This division over here, they look good, but you play some real ballers, they should be on the same court.
No, I agree. Jay, you got anything else on the college basketball or no? All right, real quick.
Big Ten, watch out.
Yeah, until they make it to the tournament and they choke.
Watch your mouth.
Hey, am I lying? Am I lying?
We ain't from Virginia.
Am I lying? Am I lying? Don't make me look it up. Don't make me look it up.
Fired.
Them cats be going out early, and people are like, what happened? What happened in Michigan State?
Hey! Just
they
like the
lost
number
to
one
Appalachian
seed,
State.
just like the number 1 seed, Virginia.
Hey, but what did Jay and I tell you? We told you.
We talking about basketball.
It's Virginia. It's the DMV area. It don't matter what sport we talk about.
All right, guys, we're gonna move on a little bit. just to highlight, if you're around your TVs and you want to highlight some other sports, right? Tennis has started their season. They're currently in the Australian Open. Just keep a lookout, see if Jannik Sinner can continue his reign, or does Carlos Alvarez from Spain do what he has to do this season. Another season that has started, which I thought was rather early, is golf, but there's only one tournament, which is the men's, and it's in La Quinta, California. It's the American Express. So, guys, keep your ears up to the TV. Keep watching the news. Right, we're starting to shift from football into all these other major sports for the rest of the season. And outside of the lightning round, we're going to keep going. And this is a sweet time to show some NFL. And Chris is sitting there like, oh, man, he already knows.
Right.
So
Right.
here's how everybody did last week. Our host, Nick Lowry, did 3-1. Jeff with a solid 3-1. Jay, I don't know what you keep picking some picks there, guy.
Hey, Jay, you keep picking like that, I'm gonna catch you.
Hey, my team that lost went to overtime and lost.
Hey,
Does that still count as an L? I'm just asking.
hey, your team that lost, that went to overtime, lost, shouldn't have went into overtime. That was a catch that they turned.
It wasn't a catch. It wasn't a catch for the 15th. Yo, hey, let's go. Come on, man. It wasn't a catch.
Chris went 2-2. If you look at the records, that now
That's why
puts
you went
me
2-2, Chris.
that now puts me 2 games ahead of Chris.
That's why Mason's 2 games ahead of you, because you don't know what a catch is and what a catch isn't.
Hey, it happened in the Rams game.
Guess what? Wasn't a catch.
We'll move over here real quick. Speaking of the catches, I think there was a lot of calls last weekend that need to be reviewed, and we'll see how the NFL handles that this weekend, considering there's 2 more games this week, right? We have on the table, we're going to go with the New England Patriots are playing the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix is out. So is it unanimous Patriots, or is anybody going to take the Broncos?
Oh, it's the Broncos, no doubt. The Broncos are going to take this.
And then we wonder why he's in last.
I don't wonder. I don't wonder.
Did anybody watch the Houston and the Patriots game from last week? If you did, both quarterbacks had like 15 turnovers.
You know why I watched it? Because you and I were texting back and forth the entire game.
And the defense for Denver led the league in sacks for the season.
Yeah, and they looked real good last week too.
You said what?
That Denver defense looked real good last week too.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, exactly. How many turnovers did they make Josh Allen force? He had 14 turnovers to go.
How many turnovers did Josh Allen force? That's the question. Hey, let me run this thing like a loaf of bread right for halftime. That's Josh Allen.
There's your 3 points right there.
There's the game right there.
And so you're going to put your faith in May, who just did the exact same thing as Allen did last week.
I'm putting my faith away from Jared Stidham. How about that? And you know what? Sean Payton hasn't caught nearly enough flack for getting Bo Nix hurt in the first place. You run a planned quarterback run to the left. Basically, you're playing for the field goal. Hand it off to a running back because now your quarterback's hurt. And for no reason. He's not Cam Newton. right? He's not Josh Allen. He's not one of these bigger quarterbacks that can take that punishment. Freak accident, yes, but bad play call, in my opinion.
So you're gonna blame Sean Payton for my man's having weak ankles? Come on, bro.
I'm gonna blame Sean
Come
Payton
on.
and putting his quarterback in harm's way.
Before the game started.
No, look, I blame him for putting his quarterback in harm's way, just like I blame the Texans coach for running 4 or 5 wide when his quarterback didn't have 2 seconds to throw the ball.
Yes.
Like, you need to, you might want to keep a running back in, have a tight end, and only have 3 people on the pattern, because you can see when he gets rattled, he just starts chucking and ducking.
Yep.
Mm.
So Jay, it's official. You're taking Denver?
It's a lock. You're gonna see Peyton and the Broncos in the Super Bowl.
Hey, Chris, well, that's a game you're gonna catch up on.
I'm not picking the Broncos.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I'm taking New England too, so
You ain't catching up, but that's just further distancing.
That's what I said, Jay.
I might be able to catch him now.
Yeah, Jeff. Hey, you might be on his doorstep.
That's what I'm saying. You keep picking like this.
And I do believe now we should implement playoff victories should weigh more than regular season.
You'd be further in the hole, and I would have already caught you. You'd have pulled both hamstrings. 100 yards, you pulled both hamstrings at the 70-yard mark.
Jay, you went 1-3 last week. Now you're picking the Broncos.
Hey, look! Everybody knows that Buffalo should have won that game.
No,
come on now. Josh Allen had the worst game that he's ever had.
Okay, the Texans should have won that game.
No,
but their quarterback C.J. Stroud had the worst game that he's ever played.
No,
that's what you're saying.
He played that way in Pittsburgh last week.
Josh Allen played that game against the Texans earlier this year.
No.
8 sacks.
We're talking about
8 sacks.
We're talking about the week before.
No. So now we're limiting it to just that week before. Okay, I got it. My fault.
It's not about what you're doing in September. It's about how you're playing now.
It wasn't September.
Well, all right.
Anyway.
Well, all right.
So, Chris, you're taking New England too, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm just making sure. All right. So now we're going to move along, right? We have our final game, NFC championship game. We have the Seattle Seahawks. They are playing the Los Angeles Rams. I'm going to go ahead and tell you who I'm taking, only because I'm in first place, and I'm taking Seattle.
Oh, I'm catching it.
We'll see about that one.
He's getting caught.
Well, if I lose one game, look, I got a 2-game buffer. So if I lose one, I'm still good.
And Chris, know this: if you pick the Rams, and for whatever reason the Rams if they win this week, he knows what you're picking next week. So all you have to pick the Rams.
No, done.
I know. I'm a Jedi mind tricking though.
No, there is no Jedi mind trick.
Chris said we betting on the Pro Bowl. He needs to get a day. We betting on the Pro Bowl.
Hey. Y'all saw that movie by Will Smith? I think it was called Focus.
Yeah.
Where they were putting little things around.
Oh, that's yeah. To get the one guy.
Yeah. So you gotta remember, right? Just so y'all know, right? Me and Mason work together. So I'm going to do everything I possibly can to get him to pick opposite of me.
Well,
he knows you're a Ram fan.
Guys, it doesn't matter what Chris does because the Rams, they're going home after this week. And so I'll take care of the Super Bowl by myself.
Wow. That sounds like a challenge, Chris.
Hey, Chris, I got some good news for you.
You save money on your insurance?
I'm picking Seattle too.
Oh, I know I'm waiting now, baby.
So, you know what? You could have George Costanza this and just picked the opposite or whatever I picked to let you know who you should pick. So, Seattle's going to win. The Rams had them in Seattle the last time they played, 30-14, with like 8 minutes to go in the game, and the special teams were the special. And the Rams let Seattle back into the game.
No, the referees went special.
Oh my goodness!
It was when Sam Darnold threw the ball backwards and Charbonnet. I don't know. It looked like the Rams were having wine because the Rams just stopped. And
Yeah, because the whistle blew.
The ball in the end zone.
Oh, not a whistle
The
blow.
whistle blew.
Ain't no whistle
Go
blow.
back and check it.
Ain't no whistle blow.
Go check it.
I did.
No,
The ref said, I did. You know what happened? That's what I saw.
No,
about that?
You heard the whistle blow.
No, I did not.
But
I saw
anyway,
this.
hey, you know what? So next week, right? I'm gonna actually get that clip, and you're gonna hear the whistle blow, and then it was over. The play was over. Nobody else was even moving. I don't want to hear that.
That was funny though. That was hilarious. Dude just like picked up the ball and said, "Hey ref, you want touchdown?"
Let me ask
What's
this
going
question.
on?
Jeff, what you got?
How do you lose a game
Hey,
when the quarterback throws four? Didn't he throw 4 interceptions that game?
they had help.
No, not 1, not 2, not
They had
3.
help.
4 interceptions.
Look, they had
I
help.
told you. I turned the game off because I thought it was done. I turned back and then they scored 16 points in a matter of seconds. And I'm like, I guess we watching this game now. And then they was like, we so bad, we not paying for the time.
You know what? You know what?
We going for the 2-point conversion.
You
Just
know
to
what,
embarrass
Jeff?
y'all even worse. Guess what?
You know what, Jeff?
Seahawks
You know
gonna do
what,
it
Jeff?
again.
You know what, Jeff?
There
You
you
know
go.
what, Jeff? You just mad. Your team is not in this position.
No, actually, you know what? This is the happiest I am all season, all the time.
Oh, I forgot. You a Cowgirl fan.
I'm a Cowboys fan. So you know why? Because right now I can just root for destruction by everybody. So because I'm not cheering for anybody.
Because you ain't got a chance, and you know you ain't gonna have a chance for another
Hey.
30 years.
Hey Chris, you'll be joining me on the couch after this weekend. So
What you talking about? We all on the couch besides Chris.
that's
After
what I
this weekend,
said.
he'll be on
Chris
the
is
couch
gonna
with
be
us.
joining us on the couch.
Yeah.
I got a spot for. Hey, you know what? I may even barbecue for you, man.
Hey, Jeff, don't hate. I got a ring already. I got a ring this year. And I'm not poking at you because you started late in the race. It's the other guy and the other 2 guys in the room.
Hey, that's fine. I'm gonna get mine though.
So
We know
I'm
Jay
just
ain't gonna
saying,
catch me.
yeah,
We
Jay
know
ain't
you ain't
catching
gonna
nobody.
Look,
Jay ain't
Chris,
catching nobody but a cold.
Yeah,
Look,
Jay
Chris,
gonna
we know
catch
you
me.
ain't
I'm
gonna
good.
catch me either because y'all going home after this week. I'm sorry, man.
But hey, but let me just say this: if the Rams are eliminated,
Uh-huh.
we're gonna have a quarterback not named Stafford, not named Mahomes, not named Lamar, not named Josh Allen, who's gonna win a chip.
And not named Dak Prescott.
I ain't never worried about us winning one with Dak Prescott.
Nice Dak Prescott. Damn.
So the point is,
Why
you would never think that you would have heard that in this day and age, or not named Hurts.
Fair enough. All right, Chris.
But that ain't happening.
Chris, you have to tell me who's going to win on air. So who are you picking?
I'm picking the Rams. What are you talking about, man?
Just making
If
sure.
y'all 3, y'all know me better enough to know I am going to go with my team.
Oh, you gonna stand
Well,
on
I got it. But see,
I'm
like,
standing on
Jay,
business.
look,
We gonna
Jay
beat
even went
you
against
in.
this team
And now,
last week.
look, you learning. Because remember when we had Tyrone Drakeford, and y'all gonna be like, to me, Jeff,
Look.
when we talking about the Eagles, what I say I was gonna do stand on. I'm proud of you, Chris.
So look,
Hey,
I'm gonna say this, right?
Go ahead.
I choose elimination. That's what I choose. That's what Kristen said. Go ahead.
We're going to do what the 49ers didn't do
Oh.
when they came out in step, dancing onto the field to take a BTA to them. Because they got BTA.
Hey, the sad part is, guys, Jay's only win last week was him calling the 49ers a loss. So, hey, Chris, you want to take us out?
Yep, I will take us out as soon to be Rams will be in the Super Bowl because we will win tonight. Tomorrow night. So y'all can
He don't even know when they play. He don't even know when they play.
He don't want to know, Coach.
We gonna put that in the universe. We're gonna put that out in the universe. But I would like to thank everybody for tuning in to the Long Distance Playbook. I would like to thank Mr. Coleman for coming by and sharing his stories. Y'all be blessed, stay blessed, and we'll see y'all next Saturday. But if you're a veteran and you want to post your business, or if you have a business you want to post, you can please post it at the bing. Give me the logo, the email, and we will respond in kind. Y'all have a great Saturday. Enjoy your basketball or whatever sport you're watching, and we'll see you next week.